Okay, we're live now. Yes, that's fine. Family, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever on a day. And welcome to the program Insai Salone Tiday, na the then and now media empire, where they broadcast live on Facebook. Me now na host and presenter, Mohamed Kamara, popularly known as Supermed. And today na Saturday, the 3rd of June, 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Sierra Leoneans, now hit that share button immediately. Today na the platform will get a very patriotic Sierra Leonean, somebody will like in salon, bad one, this man will get at the platform today, like salon, anything about salon business, it must to make sure say it give in support. The brother from down under, Mr. Aiah Thomas, they will tweet here on the platform where they can look at a broader analysis of the political landscape in Sierra Leone. Inside, they will look at what they happen between the political parties, them with democracy, so on and so forth. So please, ladies and gentlemen, I want urge you now begin share the program because the brother will get today, the brother will really get vast knowledge in terms of what's happening in our country. Now, brother will don't contribute greatly in terms of social media activism, political activists, so on and so forth. So now let's share the program. I believe say we all go be very, very happy for it directly from the brother, like I say no more, all the way from down under. Until I know what I call down under than Australia, all the way from Australia. But this brother is very frequent in Sierra Leone. It's also all the time as well. Anything in a salon business, they can give your opinion, give your contribution. So now the kind of people already talk say yes, a lacking country. Whatever happens, he makes sure say it contributes one way or the other for help pushing country forward. So get on the platform today, brother Aiah Thomas. So the original all we share, please. Brother Aiah Thomas, do I want to say hello to family and force? Well, you need to unmute yourself, sir. You need to unmute yourself.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Hello, my fellow brothers and sisters, Sierra Leoneans at home and abroad. This is Aiah. I'm very happy to be here today on Then and Now Media. And I hope you join us for a very robust discussion, sharing of ideas, and finding common grounds. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, thank you very much, brother Aiah Thomas. Like we're saying, we start the program straight off, and people can go join. Now, continue, not begin for share. Now, continue for share immediately. Brother Aiah Thomas, I want to go directly to what you see happen. I think it's just over a week ago. The chairman for the C4C party, one of the third largest party in the country in terms of their parliamentary contribution, was arrested and detained for 2 days. I want to give you a background, what's in the happen, why that happened, and what's in the present state of affairs in relation to that.
Supermed, as you rightly say, Chairman Tamba Richard Sandi, then we arrest CID and detain him for 2 nights, which was a very unfortunate situation. But just the background information to that, I don't know whether Yusuf and so many other viewers, they would hear. There was a young boy in Akonowe, they been stabbed to death. The boy named Wheezy in a confrontation. And that confrontation, they happened between a strong SLPP member and a strong C4C member. That will result to that Bobode in Daiwan. With that, I think they happen. The police were in come inside it. So we get this fellow called Tambasenesi, when a strong SLPP member, we get an argument with a strong C4C member called Akon. So what happens next is that Tambasenesi sent a lot of audios that has been all over social media. A lot of people have listened to it, threatening that it will malhandle Akon, and Akon is a disabled person. So Tambasenesi now then go and grab some boys them on the streets, take them to Akon in house, beat Akon up, and during the fracas, one of Akon associates then grab knife and stabbed Abobody Wheezy with Tambasenesi being going. So as a result, Wheezy being passed away. What happens next was terrible. What happened next is that the police then wouldn't come, they arrested everybody, even people who in the Komona farm, because they are C4C members, they were arrested. Some guys were arrested wearing nothing but their farm clothes to their machetes, Commoner farm. As long as they say this is a C4C member, they'll be arrested. So there are quite a lot of young men arrested. And where did they detain them? They took them direct to a different district at Kenneman and then go lock them up. So houses were burnt. So many houses were burnt. People were vandalized. C4C party office was vandalized. C4C district chairman Bonzo's house was vandalized. So many atrocities were committed in the sight of the police officers in Kono. And this is not the first time. It has happened several times. Every other government who we get, the police then at Kono decide with them. Back to the point. So they don't bother to arrest them. They released all the others, but they charged 4 of them to court. 5 of them to court, sorry. Those 5 that were charged to court were then brought to Freetown. Then bring them a Freetown, then a CID, then charge them to court, then dismiss 4 of those cases. Out of 5, 4 of the cases was dismissed because one of the boys actually admits to the stabbing. So since that case was dismissed from court, the CID been get the obligation for release those 4 boys. So Chairman Tambasandi, as a national C4C chairman, ain't go sign the release form. This is not a bail. A lot of people say go sign bail. No, he did not go there to sign a bail. He went there to sign a release form for the boys from CID. Those boys were released and photos were taken celebrating their release and disseminated over social media. The moment that happened that evening, the next day, Chairman Tambasandi received a call from the police advising that if I bring them boys, then they for report. And I said, for why? Why should I bring those boys to report? No, you release them on bail. And Chairman Tambasandi, no, wait a second. I didn't release them on bail. It was a release form. The case was dismissed. There was no case put forward by the prosecutors. So there is no case for those boys to answer. The posse we actually stabbed don't admit to the stabbing. So there is no case. I did not sign a bail. I've signed a release form. It's a completely different thing. So they insist anyway, no, they were waiting for come, let them see them. And Chamber said, I don't sign up there. They were both enough from Kono, then come out. There's another boy from Bo. They've already left. I signed off for them yesterday. They left yesterday. They went to their families. So that was on a Friday, they called Chairman Tambasandi. On a Saturday, they call and say, okay, well, let in Canada and a CID. They want to talk to him. He went there. They said, until those boys are returned to CID, they will not release him. They arrested him and locked him up. That is what happened. So Chairman Tambasandi he went there by himself, just like any responsible person. When you're called, you went there. They arrested him and detained him for 2 nights. Then get one phone call access, so he called and associates them. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, so he called and associates them. So then reach out to those boys, and the boys were brought on the Monday. Once the boys were brought on the Monday, even Chairman Tambasandi released from that day. The boys were brought at around 9, 10 o'clock in the morning on Monday. Chairman Tambasandi in release did not take place till later in the afternoon. No reasons were provided. You understand? And the worst case scenario of all of this, the thing we for make any activist in Sierra Leone and abroad be so fearful of the current predicaments in Sierra Leone is that those boys are now being charged back to court. You understand? They've been charged back to court. So how do you go as a responsible government, as a responsible law enforcement officers? You've investigated the incident for over 3-4 weeks. You've decided, okay, we'll take these boys and we'll take them to court. You took them to court and there's no case against 4 of the 5 boys. And then the court then said, release those guys. You release them, and then just because a photo is taken, you then go and rearrest them and bring them back and now charge them fresh charges. So there's been a lot of allegations, as you may appreciate, my brother. Those 4 police officers that were at CID, we provide the release documents. They've been relieved. Some of them have been suspended. Some of them have been relieved, saying that Chairman Sandi bribed them and so on and so forth. Throughout the time that the boys were held at CID, Chairman Sandi never went there. He never went there. It was only when they were due for release. They said, who don't they nominate for making cancer and a release form? They nominated the party chairman, and the party chairman is obliged to go and sign the release form. So this is what is happening, my brother. There's been a lot of calls that the Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Emerson, Sir Emerson Lamina, they don't pull strings, they don't put forward these allegations. They don't put forward, say, the president not going to be safe na Kono because the president is due to visit Kono. The president will be safe na Kono with those boys being released. But you have to understand the background of the story. If you can recall, where the president been go to the States of the Nation's address, 5 C4C members of parliament then walk out. I don't know whether you recall that.
I recall that, yes, definitely, yeah.
Yes, but Supermed, it was all over social media. 5 C4C members of parliament walk out. The current C4C caucus leader, when Honorable Sir Francis Bendu, in Deputy Honorable Sir Charles, Honorable Paul Sam, Honorable Kasibama, Honorable what's this guy's name? I've forgotten his name.
5 of them, yeah.
Yes, they're 5 honorable members of parliament. Yeah, when they walk out, they walked out in protest. The reason when this happened is that, you know, there are sitting arrangement, of course. If you have a national program as big as that, there's sitting arrangement. So Chairman Tambasandi was apportioned a seat among all other party chairmen. Prince Hardin, Dennis Bright, and Anes Baikroma, who was also invited and represented by the Secretary General, and several other dignitaries of opposition political parties. And C4C chairman was written on the seat. Chairman Tambasandi arrived. Who was seated at the seat? The person who had been seated at the seat is a former member of C4C, who now then are caught with they don't sue C4C himself, Ali Iskandare, Aiah Fande, Emerson Lamina, and others, they don't come together and sue C4C, na court, and there's an injunction on C4C. So that guy is the guy that has now been taken in place in that seat.
Mr. Thomas, just only there, because this injunction for political partisan, we don't see him because there's an injunction against ADP when they did that Palemba Road. Now there's an injunction against C4C. There's an injunction against APC. I mean, that's why today's program will say, now when they look at the political landscape in the country, again, what does this say to people when they follow democracy? What does this say to democracy in our own country? If the one way or the other, I would say, we don't know if it is political interference through the judiciary. And it's so easy for the judiciary to just stamp an injunction by opposition parties them. And that's not a bold well in terms of democracy. And what's playing on? Why is all this happening? What do you think?
My brother, I think it's a good thing. Sanity is a good thing. Sierra Leone politics, we don't become so accustomed to the status quo that nothing moves. I tell you, if you look at, I have interacted with a lot of politicians, a lot of them, both personally and also in a public sphere. There are quite a lot of incompetent people in very high position of huge responsibilities. And if you interact with them, you honestly will say to yourself, without being arrogant, you can say to yourself, this guy is not fit to hold that position. You understand? You can say that to yourself just by interacting with them, just by hanging out with them for a few weeks or doing a project with them. You can see the lapses. So for sanitize a thing like that, you're not able to do them from within. I mean, look at APC, SLPP, look at the presidents we are having, look at the ministers we are having. This is the clearest manifestations that those political parties need to be sanitized. So I am all up for all this injunction and stuff. When you look at C4C, yes, the injunction has come. It has been done in a legal way. Yes, there are questions. We all know that the judiciary is somehow compromised. They somehow favor the ruling governments of the day. We all know that. But if you look at it from a broader perspective,
why I brought this to your attention, because I remember when they unlawfully remove members of parliament from parliament and impose new members of parliament. One of the society constitution say those people took their case to court, and then case then I think they take over almost years and they even empanel judges them for deal with them case then. But now when they other political parties they get some infights or whatever they get, instantly they get judged for deal with them cases them. Is this, what sort of justice is this? Because it don't look like a level playing field across the board. Because when the political parties they get something when are interested in something where they get for deal with the ruling party, then those cases are never empaneled. I mean, like I'm saying now the parliament they can't finish, so those 10 members of parliament in case 30 nobody does not even know what is happening. That is why you see people are very, very suspicious. Say, well, why make them able to quickly put injunction for them political parties there? So.
Okay, Supermed, there shouldn't be any question on anybody's mind that the judiciary of the day always lines with the ruling government. We've seen that during Pakaba's time. We've seen it during Dr. Anes Baikoroma's time when Chief Alhaji Samsumana was dismissed illegally. And the judiciary was exposed. They exposed the judiciary in the ECOWAS court for the regional countries foresee how hopeless they are. We've seen that now. You understand? Those things that you've mentioned, those members of parliament that were illegally removed from their seat is a brighter example that the judiciary now still sides with the government of the day. And I give you several other examples. We've had examples like we've had a honorable member arrested, Honorable Lai Mara arrested and locked up. Just because he posts something in our social media, now WhatsApp forum for members of parliament. I tell you, my brother, as a member of parliament, the kind of freedom we enshrine our constitution for you, it is so much that it's hard to even narrate. You can't over emphasize it. They're so good, they are so free that even when they drive go to the working place, they bang you on a road. They cannot be prosecuted for it. We've been seeing those rights and freedoms and liberties abused every day. We've seen honorable members of parliament arrested in Parliament House. And an example is Honorable Mohamed Bangura was arrested. I've seen this on video. It's not a secret. So there's been a lot of things. We've seen the incidences in Lonsa, Makeni, Tombo, Pademba Road. People were killed. These are citizens of Sierra Leone, killed. You understand? Nothing has happened to it. Instead, people were arrested in all those areas and brought back to Pademba Road and locked up. Those that were killed were brought back and the bodies were taken and brought back to Freetown. They were held there for a long time before released.
Brother, yeah, let me just interject quickly here because that point is very, very important. You know, there are people who are arrested from Lusai when they can lock many places. I mean, how will we sustain democracy in our country when this arbitrary arrest and incarceration seems to be taking place at will? Like you gave the example of them, where they don't go signing a release from say they don't get no case. Now suddenly they're rearrested again. Now they don't get new case. I mean, it makes a mockery of our judiciary system and the old system in itself. How would we go say we'll get democracy in our country when they can say this is gross human rights abuse they take place?
The only way we'll be able to get democracy in Sierra Leone, practical democracy, now forget the right people in the right position. All right. You know, I tell you this not to now, let nobody look at it till they happen now and say, nah, SLPP no more to do this. That would be wrong. You understand? The term orders from above was coined during Anes Baikoroma's time. You understand? That's the first time I ever heard it. You understand? And I was mature during Pakaba in time. I never heard it. Orders from above was coined during Anes Baikoroma's time. So this lawlessness, this level of complicity, this level of compromise and confusion with the judiciary and law enforcement officers, it started way back and is a trend that has been going on. If we have people of integrity in position of trust and responsibility, they wouldn't care. They would prefer to resign or be dismissed instead of compromising. That is why it is good for us to go back A lot of people, they say, let we go from a new party. How many new parties have we formed? What happened? They've all crumbled. NGC, the Ribotan today, it is crumbling. You understand? They only have 4 members of parliament. I supported NGC during the election. I supported them initially during the elections. They are crumbling today. ADP, they are in court today. C4C, when are the 3rd largest political party are fighting. APC, when for can rescue people and from the mess, they are fighting each other. We have to, because of greed and selfishness, we have to make sure that we infiltrate those political parties and have the right people. Whatever the means, my brother, Supermed, whatever the means. If the means be that we are siding with the ruling government of the day, then they seek their own selfish interest for destroy those parties. We are seeking our own interest by ensuring that we influence changes. Like what is happening in APC today is a great thing, my brother. I tell you this, a lot of people.
Okay, on that keynote, brother, yeah, just only hold on it quickly. And family do I will continue for share. I want to tell family and say, so tonight we are broadcasting on a new platform because, like we were saying, we don't know what's in the happening on that old platform. That old platform, we get plenty people that Aku platform do all kind of things. Even Facebook came to us and says that we are putting out material that are threatening and so on and so forth. So that they take videos them down. So we don't try to for make sure say we adjust that situation. Now we're actually broadcasting on a new platform on Facebook. Can you imagine? We don't know that they do all kinds of things like this. I mean, many of videos they don't take them down. Facebook don't take them down. We don't know why they send complaint and power. We don't know. We don't look like kind of discussion again. We want to have Facebook understand the create a proper one because now simple and open and democratic discussion we get. So family, we continue for share. We subscribe to this new platform. Lord, build up the numbers so that plenty of people will be not used to that old platform will know this new platform where they broadcast again too. And like when the boy they talk about, so this Saturday they come Insai Salone bring Alfred P. Conte get for at this platform with some other prominent personalities, including Dr. Vinod Fuller and Lady Cassandra and Lady Maya too and Madam Fatima Conte. They all get for at the platform this Saturday coming. Now this new platform out there and now they broadcast them so live. So please not share the message so that plenty of people will come back and go understand say we broadcast on a new page because the previous page we don't get all kind of attack. People they try to bring our page down, do all kinds of things. So but we tell God thank you. Then go delay, but not go stop with because we believe so they do so now the patriotic duty of all Sierra Leoneans. For our ways of voice, so all governments accountable, not highlight issues. Don't get a discussion. This is like a conversation going on here. Because we need to understand all so we need to know what's in the go on. You see, it's very important, ladies and gentlemen. So please, now we continue for share. Brother Yapi Conte and Thomas, sorry. Again, let's come back. Now come back to C4C. C4C now one of the parties where they allow those political consortium where I think that 13 political parties will come together. But despite the leadership under the chairman and others, they would have consortium. They look like say C4C in itself don't divide. Or what's the latest situation with them? Will the party C4C survive without a former leader when former vice president Chief Alhaji Samsumana? Would C4C survive?
C4C is a political party. You know, a lot of people will raise questions about the survival of C4C. But I tell you, C4C is founded on principles we will keep them for the go for a long time. Country first. You understand? Salon first. Those are the principles that is founded on. And Samsumana, Chief Alhaji Samuel Samsumana did such an incredible job as the leader of C4C during his time, in the sense that, you know, succession planning is a very key thing to leadership. Leaders fail because they fail to plan their succession. Chief Alhaji Samuel Samsumana planned his succession. If anybody know him, you know he's not the kind of guy who just floats around. He's grounded, very solid. He planned his succession really well for ensure that the party will continue, for ensure that the gains that have been made in the party are not lost. So you get people like Dr. David Baikonte, who is a former member of parliament. Is still Honorable David Baikonte, when the leader will succeed Chief Alhaji Samuel Samsumana as the leader of the Coalition for Change. You get the current, all the administrators are still there. Nothing has changed in terms of that. Now, you will get a fracas, like you don't mention. SLPP, they try for infiltrate. And Kono, they're like the Ohio of the United States of America. You understand? Everybody wants a piece of him. And the person will get the whole Kono at the moment, now C4C. That is the undeniable truth. C4C then get the whole Kono. So if you want to get a piece of Kono, you need to buy C4C. So to see that people, we've had 3 honorables where they don't almost defect to SLPP. Almost defect. You never hear them criticizing C4C honorable. You never hear them criticizing the ruling government. You never hear, imagine members of parliament. You hear the president praising them. You know what I mean? These are opposition members of parliament. So these are the people that SLPP don't get a grip on at the moment. But that does not mean that C4C will go there. It just means that there are hiccups. There will be hiccups. There are hiccups in all opposition political parties. But C4C will thrive.
But yeah, I just want to interject quickly here, because one key question where people them go and know about, why did Chief Alhaji Sam Sumana, former vice president, why make it left C4C?
Chief Alhaji Sam Sumana na a national figure. Na a man we don't contest in 2 consecutive elections as a vice president of Sierra Leone and won both. You understand? He brought APC to power in 2007. In 2012, he went there again, and they did it, him and his boss, former President Dr. Hannes Bai Koroma. So they had an issue, like politics, not a personal thing. You understand? Somebody, they bite your finger, you lick them and then walk away.
Yeah, because
that is what has happened.
Yeah, why I ask this question? Why make the former vice president left C4C? Because people say the left C4C, cascade into all these issues C4C they get. C4C begin disintegrate because of Chief Alhaji Sam Sumana left C4C. So people are saying is that some other people are critically say it let C4C people them down, it let C4C party down, because they feel say they're able to build C4C and establish them countrywide, because the country is crying for other political parties the way we will come. We don't see, yes, we don't say it's very difficult, but we don't see turn the way political parties away come, we make huge impact. Although they'll not be able to say for long, the likes of PDP Sober, the likes of PMDC, the likes of the party, I think NURPP of Charles the late Kaifara Smart. So why the former vice president decide for left C4C? And that is why people are asking those questions, because they say, well, if now we left, because I be like the pillar, the strong pillar of the party. And you go see, say, if that pillar they come out, then the other wait and call them adjoining pillar, the way wait and call them go begin crumble as how they see so now at the party.
I say to those people, I understand their concerns. I do understand, and I believe Chief Alhaji Sam Sumana. I'm not his spokesman. I'm his brother, and I love him very much. I know that he understands their plight. I know that Chief Alhaji Sam Sumana not just left C4C. Here is what he did. When he thought when APC they approached and he thought of returning back, he went around the country asking people what their thoughts were. You understand? That's number 1. Number 2, he went to Kono and hold a town hall meeting. You understand? With people, C4C party stakeholders, asking them. And overwhelmingly, the people endorsed his return to APC. You know why? Because people in don't see and say, we Sierra Leone need an alternative force. Sierra Leone need somebody who can rescue the country from the current predicament. Sierra Leone needs somebody where they able trust for give power and authority for rescue Sierra Leone come 2023. C4C is a formidable political party, yes. The 3rd largest political party, yes. But can C4C win elections, a presidential election in 2023? The answer is no, not at this stage. If NGC, where they get millions and millions of dollars, where they spend so much more than APC, they're not able to win presidential election. In fact, they're the 4th largest political party in Sierra Leone, not even 2nd. If they couldn't, with all those resources at the disposal of Kande Yumkela and Dennis Bright and others, how can C4C win 2023 election that was formed very just on the nick of the election, the 2018 elections? It is impossible. Now, Sam Sumana is aging. He has ambitions. He has things that he wants to achieve for Sierra Leone. He's been a vice president on 2 consecutive occasions. The aim now is to ascend the throne and bring the transformation that the country needs. The best way to do it is to do it through an existing political party that he has worked for. His father has worked for, his grandfather has worked for, that he was a vice president in that political party for 2 consecutive years, and they've welcomed him back. That is why Sam Sumana is going back to see how he can transform it. And already you can see the competition is heating up. Everybody is against
him. Yes, but brother Thomas, again, let me interject again quickly here, because it's very fundamental for this particular thing. If the supporters of C4C thought it fit that the former vice president, Chief Alhaji Sam Sumana, should go back to the APC, then what is the purpose of C4C then? Why would all those C4C supporters go with Chief Alhaji Sam Sumana to the APC and C4C cease to exist? Because if they think C4C as a political party is not viable to take power, then what is the purpose of C4C? People will ask that question.
That's a good question. But I ask you again, what was the purpose of Sobe in 2007 to Ernest Bai Koroma? I asked you that question. It's a rhetoric question. The reason why I ask you that question, because Ernest Bai Koroma keeps Sobe to 2012. You understand? He went into
but Sobe, after the first election that they came, I think they came 3rd.
Yeah.
After that election, Sobe almost basically ceased to exist as a proper Sobe of itself, because they were in coalition government with the Tijan Kaba government. That's why Tijan Kaba government came to power. They were in coalition. And it's just like the PMDCS were in coalition with Ernest Koroma in 2007. So the Ernest Koroma government came to power. So the problem here, the idea here is people are saying, okay, some people are saying they're disgruntled with the 2 main political parties, but they're looking for somebody who is determined enough, who is resolute enough to form another 3rd force. Don't you think the country is kind for a 3rd force that is really sincere and resolute?
I think
to take on those 2 major parties.
I think we all want to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. The truth of the matter is that we've had several 3rd forces since after the war. You understand? None of them have materialized. You know, insanity is defined as doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. You and I were within our 40s, maybe older. How much longer do we have on this earth to be killing ourselves over something every 5 years? The election is every 5 years. You understand? So how many more elections do we have in our lifetime to build a political party that is going to really uproot these 2 Ograni parties in power, SLPP and APC? In our lifetime, my assessment as an analyst is that that's impossible in our lifetime. Maybe our grandkids or great-grandkids, maybe. But in our lifetime, I don't see that happening.
But Thomas, I want to challenge that notion, because all the political parties who don't get, people defect from the 2 original party to come and form another party because they have disputes, they have issues. So we haven't got people who come out like originally, who are constructive Sierra Leoneans, determined Sierra Leoneans, Sierra Leoneans who are really patriotic, who set example, that have come up from a new political party. We haven't seen that yet, which is a formidable political party. Yes, we know we've got lots of other small parties. Sometimes these small parties just form just to, get some of this tokenistic, whatever. I mean, I'm not making allegations, but that is the allegation out there. But what we're saying here is, if we got a formidable 3rd force, a genuine and sincere formidable 3rd force, don't you think they can make an impact? Because the message would be unique. The message would be clear. But all of these parties, let's say for instance, the NGC party, Honorable Kole Yomkela was fighting for the leadership of the SLPP. It did not get the leadership of the SLPP. So what did he do? He defected and formed his own party. Former Vice President Alhaji Chief Sam Sumana had an issue with the APC party. I think he was expelled from the party. He went and formed his own party, the C4C. So you can see where this party originated from. Don't you think if people who are genuine people who haven't got an issue with any political party, decided to say, okay, we are not going to go with these political parties. We are going to form our own political party, new and fresh, genuine ideas, new ideas, and bring the message. Because the thing is, you have to have perseverance. We cannot give up as a nation that, okay, then two parties are on there. Now they no more, well, me not going to get leadership again. I not going to try because it not going to make pass. And I pass a day, but then two parties. So if that is the same, then what's in the purpose of criticizing two parties? That means we'll just get for do better and more follow each one and you know and let them to rule forever. Is that the case?
I want to go back and revisit the comments you made about you know, having genuine people come forward. We've had a lot of genuine people. Let me give you a list. We have a long list of genuine people. It's just easy to forget because they haven't succeeded as we had hoped. Mohamed Bangura, this Mohamed Bangura where this is today, he's got a history. Mohamed Bangura from Canada, he's got a history. When he started, is it UDP? He started UDP. He went to UDP as a chairman and leader.
No, he started with PMDC.
PMDC, and he went through UDP.
So he was with Charles Magai.
Mohamed Bangura is the epitome of youth activism, youth political engagement, youth politicians.
I want to question that a little bit because Mohamed Bangura was with PMDC. He had an issue with Charles Magai, so he left PMDC and formed his own party, UDM. But UDM in his own party, he had an issue with his vice chairman, with Brahma Togo. So that questionable.
No,
I mean, you could say
your Brahma Togo is from ADP, but what I'm saying is that
sorry, Brahma Togo, yes, it's ADP. That was coming by sorry, right? But he was with Charles Magai and Mohamed Bangura.
He was, but what I'm saying is, as a young man, you understand, he was what, early 30s, you know, 31 or 32. Is the symbol of youth involvement in politics as far as our lifetime. I'm telling this honestly. Before him, there was never any young person that I've heard of who at that age was able to stand up to the challenge and say, who was given the opportunity to fight for it. But this guy was a genuine guy standing up and say, look, you know, we can do an alternative. We can have an alternative force, an alternative voice here. We can have that. We can represent the views of the people. For several years, he tried so hard. There was no way out. What did he have?
I see your point. Let's move away from it now. Let's move away from that point. Let's come to the two main political parties, the APC and the SLPP. Which one of these two political parties is the lesser of the two evil? You know, which one is, in terms of Sierra Leone, we will say, yes, this is better past the other one. According to your own analysis, your own perspective throughout the years, who's one party two parties here? So?
Me, what I tell you is that they are the same, in my view, are the same casada soup. The reason why I say is that I know a lot of people go angry.
Let me hold you here. That's not going to be even two twin them. They're not going to be 100% the same. There must be differences. So out of the differences in there, now make us say which one, if they are two are evil, which one are the lesser of the two evil?
It's hard to tell because they're in competition of bad governance. You know, they gain a competition. When you can't, if you don't arrest the people, they arrest the people. So how do you say which is the list of the?
No, but that's what I say. If you look at an overall assessment of the two political parties, since when they're in governance, since we get democracy, let's say, since we get democracy, we don't get the late president Ahmed Chijankaba, we don't get the former president Anes Kuma, now we don't get President Madabiu. When you look them two parties here, since we don't get democracy, which one you feel say, at least it's better for Salone? I know there are many, they get plenty lapses. We all know that, but which one better in terms of Salone, in terms of, say yes, at least would they see a little bit of improvement, we see a little bit of this, we see things, because now we are left with these two political parties. You've almost agreed, say yes, then two political parties that they never for day. So we're talking out to the population, to the masses out there, but then two political parties here. So if me na a novice, I don't want to vote, and if I think say, well, then two political parties say they're all too bad. But which one at least less bad where I'm going to vote for where sometimes it go better small? What's your advice to me?
My advice to that person is that I will ask you for make you, if now somebody will follow up with world events, for make you glance at the Republicans and the Democrats and the US. How can you say which one is the lesser evil? It's hard to say that. It will be unfair to make that judgment. You assess them.
Yes, but let me interject again. The America, Republicans and Democrats, these two, they are progressive political parties, whether they lead country when the world power and the world. So I think the comparison is a little bit waiting. Because when you think of them two other parties, you say them two parties they're not good for the country, they're not good. But at the time of challenge, you say, however, people are not good, however, get two bad people in. But if you analyze them, we go most if you give them by percentage. One go most the way bad passing company. They cannot be 100% bad to the same thing exactly. They all two.
That's true. I agree with you wholly and solely that you cannot say 100% they're 50-50. But I can also submit to you that is unreasonable. It will be unreasonable to say this one better small past this. You know why? I can only speak on the leadership. I can speak on specific leadership. I can speak on Pakaba in leadership. I can speak on Dr. Anesbai Kroma in leadership. I can speak on Bio in leadership over the past 3 years. The challenges them, I can make comparison and so on. But for say this particular party, excel past this other party on a general level, it will not be fair to say it because now the leadership, then they define.
Yes, but that is what I'm saying. When you don't say they speak on the leadership, then you're speaking on the party because the leadership then they lead the party. So if that leadership deliver, then let me say that party don't deliver. Because if the party gets poor leadership or weak leadership, then they will not be able to deliver. But let me say, when you look at the two, obviously the APC don't get one leader. The SPP are the second leader this. If you do a comparison, like for life comparison, then leadership then you go most able to say, okay, well, based on any leadership, so I don't see force. This party don't do better than party A or party B don't do better than party C.
Me, I will speak on the issues. I'm reluctant to call out. I'm reluctant because I know a lot of people will look at it and say, Aiah is taking sides. I'm reluctant to make that call.
Okay. Well, let me make the question more simpler, but I repeat almost. Let me say, the previous administration of former President Anesbai Kroma, as compared to this current administration of President retired Julius Maada Bio, if you make a comparison, so from where they don't then two selling the what's the comparison? How you see the two administrations?
Well, I see the two administrations are completely different. You know, so different in so many ways. I see the two and so similar. They're so similar as well in so many different ways. But in terms of the benefits of Sierra Leone, I see Dr. Anesbai Kroma a transformational and a transformative president. President Wikana Sierra Leone at the time where Sierra Leone was described as the darkest country on earth. You understand? Because how do you do that? If you even check Google Earth, they tell you the darkest country on earth because your satellite system will tell you, Sierra Leone was at 2007. You understand? And Anesbai Kroma transformed that. Sierra Leone is no longer that. And Anesbai Kroma, in terms of infrastructural development, people say road. Off-road. Where road is so significant to national development. If you look at Hitler, where Hitler been ready for attacking neighbor, what force you do? Now the road force you make. You understand? Eh? Road is so essential to national development. And Anesbai Kroma in road infrastructural development of Sierra Leone is unquestionable. It is something that will go down decades in our lifetime and the lifetime of our great-grandkids, where they will come and celebrate and enjoy this development that we put in place. Under Anesbai Kroma, we had clearly, in first time, I'll speak on his first time. His first time was absolutely beneficial to Sierra Leoneans. His first time, there was less thieving. His first time, there was less political police brutality. There was no political prisoners in first 7 years. You understand? We had freedom. I was an activist before Anesbai Kroma came to government, and I criticized Anesbai Kroma 20 times more than I'm criticizing Bio today. You understand? And I was free to do that in Sierra Leone. You understand? I made videos. If you look at my profile, I made videos criticizing Anes by Kuruma, calling me dictator when I was in Sierra Leone. And I never feared for my life. Never. You understand? So there's a very big distinction. Yes, towards the end of it, in second time, it mess up. There's a lot of mess up in second time. You know, extrajudiciary arrests, detention, judgments, and all the courts corruptions, and a lot of other things that happen.
So many other APC people go disagree that part say the second time extrajudiciary arrest. Do you want to give some few examples? Because people it's always they say where an SBD, arrest, get political prisoners. Just like what they see now for say they only arrest you because of you there against them, or maybe they support the other party or so on and so forth. Do you want to give example that the people that they arrest where because many APC people always dispute that particular issue. They say no, unless in turn, they not be a political prisoner at all. APC
will always defend Anes by Kuruma, which is perfectly understandable. But the fact remains that the second time of Anes by Kuruma, there's a lot of arrest, arbitrary arrest. I give you an example. There was a commotion in Kono. When they reach Kono, they arrest all the other people in a different camp. I don't want to go too much into this, but anybody who been follow up with the towards the end of Anes by Kuruma understands this. There were a lot of people arrested and brought to Freetown and jailed and locked up in Pademba Road for several months before they were released. They were never charged. You understand? We look at the case of Sam Sumana. That's a brighter example that the judiciary was compromised. You understand?
Yeah, so but that case, apparently, according to the APC people, they're saying it was a party dispute. It was the dispute was within the APC party. So that's
you've just mentioned Supermed that yes. The leadership represent the party. You understand?
Absolutely, but that's
exactly
what I mean.
So that decision represents Anes by Kuruma.
Not to party A go arrest party B, like what we see now. Like for example, you give the example this now where party A go arrest NC4C. Like people take and say, okay, now party A against party B, but that one was party A against party A. So it was an internal dispute within the party.
It was an internal dispute, but we're talking about the justice system. We're talking about Anes by Kuruma's records. That's what we're talking about. And that is Anes by Kuruma's record that he can deny it. And I come down to Bio. Bio started off, me, I appointed myself as an ambassador of anti-corruption because Bio started with, he provided this flamboyant assessment of the previous government. We carry so many of us away that these guys were criminal syndicates, they were these BOs, and so on and so forth. You understand? And it turned out to be that we're even seeing corruption in BO government. Now, but what if BO don't demonstrate? Let me say this. I listened to BO on BBC, I listened to him on Al Jazeera, and I follow these things closely. Here is what he said. He said, I know I am going to be investigated when I leave office. He said that, I know. He said, I know I'm going to be investigated. He said, but I must set the record straight. We have all been corrupt, but we have to draw the line in the sand. Yes, BO, there's been a lot of accusation about some of the ministers, you understand? There's been a lot of misconception. There's been a lot of questions raised about them. But he actually standing up and say, let's bring people to book. He don't set a tone moving forward, my brother. Yes, he has set a tone.
Yeah, again, let me interject again because when they say action speaks louder than voice. It's all good saying all this nice words, we go land under the sun, we'll do this. But now the same investigation we see, somebody will accused for over 50,000 bags of rice. Can you imagine 50,000 bags of rice? Not just something they will keep around small room. They accuse this person minister and suspend him. The one on case and do thorough investigation. The anti-corruption commissioner says he's got all sorts of evidence. What happened? The case going to court, it just collapsed like that. The minister is reinstated again. So people are saying, but listen,
but that is not what happened. You see, Supermed, that is not what happened. That's completely the opposite of what happened. What happened in that instance? You see, the America say, Sierra Leone, we are selecting what we want to hear. The facts of the matter is that where Dr. Alpha Timbo, I think Alpha Timbo was accused. And BO stood him down.
Yes.
Stood him down straight away, which was
that's why I said yes,
decision,
right, yes.
without dealers. But it wasn't 50,000 bags of rice. You understand? It was a portion of the total amount of rice was 50,000 bags of rice, 49,000 to be precise.
Yes.
So it was a portion of that rice that was unaccounted for.
Yes.
So ACC investigated, and ACC then published, Francis by Calvara, they publish investigation 9-page every now and then. You understand? It's public document. They investigated and they found that he had nothing to answer for in terms of, it was the distribution, the distribution mechanism.
Mr. Aiah Thomas, let me disagree with you there, because I knew when I come, because it talks to what happened and what he said, not what I knew the ACC commissioner said, then get a solid case against the former minister. Then go to court. I know what the problem was, according to the ACC commissioner, was that when they go to court, the ACC commissioner said he wants a judge-only trial, whilst according to the Attorney General also, it will be a judge and jury trial. So the ACC commissioner said, well, if that be the case, he's not going to push the case further. And that is how the case was dismissed. So I don't know.
The case never went to the court. The case never went to court. The case never went to court against the minister. That's the fact. The case never went to court. ACC never gathered information that warrants prosecution against the minister.
No, but Thomas, I want you to research this thoroughly, because I don't hear you.
I have.
When the ACC commissioner himself,
because the deputy publicity secretary of deputy publicity publicist of ACC, what is the boy name himself, and Francis and others, we've had a lot of arguments about this. But the fact of the matter is that Dr. Usman Timbo was never charged to court. There was not sufficient evidence against him to charge him as a minister in charge of that.
Okay, well, I think the people then go judge, because maybe see this one openly, but let's move away from that.
But let me go back to, let me finish off with the comparison between leadership, Anes and Bio. One of the greatest things about Bio's leadership is, number one, Bio is the free and quality education. I know a lot of people will raise a lot of questions, but my brother Supermed, you and I were living overseas. I know within myself, the number of calls that I'm receiving about tuition fees has drastically reduced. Now I receive a lot of calls about other things, but not about tuition fees for kids in primary school, high school. Not about that. I receive calls about universities, but not about primary and high school, not anymore. And I think that is evidence of Bio's free quality education. The quality part is questionable, but the fact that he was bold enough to put 21% of our GDP towards education, to put education as the flagship program of his government, that is something that is worth commending. You understand?
Yes, absolutely.
It's a huge commendation.
Commending, but people are saying the execution of the idea is very, very poor, because when they say almost not built in a day. You can forget the infrastructure, the educational infrastructure. It would have even been better. Many analysts say better make it take that 21% say and build the infrastructure of education at the country. Once you don't do that now, the other few years following, you go say, okay, we'll not pay. But the 21%, that build infrastructure, because like I'm saying to you now, school and they were picking the classroom, and not even enough for the picking where they have from 1 and they from 1A, they're not getting enough, and the classroom itself cannot even take half of the picking. So they make double shifts, even triple shifts, and if the infrastructure not there is not going to be any education. Even with
Supermed, how do you build infrastructure while at the same time advancing education in the country? It happens simultaneously. You don't stop it.
That is the point when the analysts say
you don't stop.
No, because of the limited resources when the country gets, you cannot do all of these things together. Because of the limited resources. So they say, put the money first by the infrastructure, then the fees, the secondary school education fees was not big. Now 50,000, 40,000. Made they pay, whilst the infrastructure already, at least another 2 years, then you tell us you're not paying now. So that's
what happens to the current students if you focus entirely on infrastructure. What happens to the current students?
What happens to them? Let me say you lose maybe 5 or 10% that could not make it. But
you lose out 100%. If you say the focus should be on infrastructural development, educational infrastructural development alone, then you lose out the current level of student. The one in a university, the one in a high school, the one in a primary school.
But
You're pretty much
Mr.
putting
Thomas,
a blanket
I feel
over
say
them.
you get this fundamentally not in the same page here. The university fees even it went up. There's no deduction in university. This
I'm
is
not
only
talking
for
about
secondary
university
school.
fees.
Don't forget to Salome.
I'm talking about education as a whole.
You know that Salome.
Which I talk. I understand. Which I say I talk about education as a whole. You understand? In terms of educational infrastructural development, this is not just one component of several different components them where the current government they deal with under the free quality education. They are building schools. You understand? But for example, if you go school, right now you go school, you're hungry, you're not able to focus, you don't eat yesterday, you're hungry, you're in a class. No matter how beautiful this class is, how are you going to focus? You understand? So BO is tackling everything at a minimal level. Now the foundation, this is a great thing for us, even as opposition. Even as opposition,
but
I
that
think
is what I'm
opposition
saying here.
figures recognize that.
Commend the idea. The idea is good, but the execution is very critical. You know, anything you can get, you don't get the best idea. Say you want to make salon, but the way they do them for they go to work because waiting you salon get limited resources. And now, obviously, you look at the teachers. The teachers, for the education work now with country, the teachers are a key component. If the teacher really gets salary, where at least the teacher will manage. But I mean salary, not to say you to 1 million. We all know if you're living in Freetown, you're a teacher, you get 2-3 picking them. Then they pay you 1 million a month. It's almost impossible for you to survive in that.
That's true.
What you rent stuff alone, we don't take all the salary. So what about waiting to eat every day? So with the fellows, what did each other they do? Or not picking them many schools, with the get complain many schools, they picking them every day, passing go to 1,000 or 2,000 for the teacher. And the teacher, the quality of teaching is very poor as well. We saw that the second year, so where Salone Pool, one of the worst results, now the record of Sierra Leone ever. So
that is also a brighter example. That particular instance where you cite in terms of the worst results, Sierra Leone Pool, I was very excited about it. You know why? You know why I was excited? My brother, I encourage you and anybody who watch this video, when I sincere, I don't see somebody will compromise the way they think their own political, but somebody who is sincere and genuine will tell me, say, we have engineers in Sierra Leone that cannot do basic mathematics. We have doctors in Sierra Leone that cannot even test blood pressure properly. We have lawyers in Sierra Leone that cannot write a single paragraph without actually making grammatical errors. You know why? Now, because of decades and decades of compromises that have been made in the educational system. What BO is doing is cleaning it up. And anti-corruption is helping him to clean it up. An example was that record where all them picking and they was picking and they fail at Sierra Leone. You understand? That is a brighter example because they don't actually focus now. They don't say yes. We clean up the system. Nobody will spy and compromise anymore. What happens? It manifests the ugliness, the backwardness of our educational system manifested itself in that result. I don't hold BO responsible for that. I applaud BO's government for that, for exposing that, for making it Sierra Leoneans to be aware. Moving forward, we set a template. Imagine somebody start from MPSC. He compromised the MPSC, go now from one. He can Beke, he compromised it. He gonna was, he compromised it. He go to university. He pay money or he sleep with money.
Compromise and they take place. That is the key.
Then,
I make I tell you, say the infrastructure is important.
That is what they're working on. This particular topic what they talk about now, a manifestation of BO in background work in changing the infrastructures, changing the status quo of our education.
I know, but this is a problem here, brother Pete Thomas. The idea is here is the infrastructure. Nobody know Chocham. Nobody know Chocham. What the president did, say, okay, the 21%, all them picking a school fee, they go to the 21% basically. And
that's
a
not
little
true.
bit of increase, I'll give him a little bit of increase to teachers, yes. You also give a little bit salary increase to teachers, but that increase is, many teachers will tell you, say that increase, like pittance. Because like I said to you,
you have to start somewhere. You can't, Rome was not built in a day. Sierra Leone resources. Sierra Leone is a poor country. Our GDP is 3 billion leones.
Yes,
that's
what I'm saying to you.
So
even the education is in a salon. I had a debate where I see the lecturers, head of all the universities of Sierra Leone, they had the same debates. Say they're 100% glad it's a free education. That is 100% good. But you cannot get the education if you not get the infrastructure. Meaning is, you can forget the classroom. You can forget a classroom where picking one go toilet, let toilets day. Many schools, they don't even get toilets. Just imagine.
What do you mean to tell you now? What do you mean to tell you, brother Supermed? Bio in free quality education is not without fault. I'm not saying it's perfect. What I'm saying is that it's a fantastic initiative. As a Sierra Leonean, I'm extremely happy about it.
It's a fantastic
and I'm also
initiative.
saying that, imagine, this initiative started roughly 3 years ago. You're fixing something that has been they started destroying it from 1961. That's when they started destroying it, because Sierra Leone was the country where people from all over the region went to study at FBC. You understand? This history of Sierra Leone, FBC, you have to know that. People from all over, Nigerians and others, came to Sierra Leone to study. Now, the successive governments that we don't get in place since independence to now, then just don't destroy the fabrics of education. To rebuild that, it's going to take time.
But it's good that
BO has started.
Because you say so I like them. This thing, you feel say don't broken. I said I had the debate. The education is in a salon. People don't depend on the education business since their whole life. They all sit down and look at them. So this is not an holistic structural damage. Now, if you get for BDOs, the foundation don't broke, the foundation poor. Even you put all kind of block up, it will never work because the foundation poor. So what you need to do, go back to the foundation and look at the foundation and therefore sort the foundation out. Otherwise, you're wasting your time.
I think if we focus so much on structural, like when we talk about infrastructural development, education infrastructure, we're speaking about classrooms. Yes, you talk about toilets and all this.
Not only classrooms, you talk about the education, the teachers, and so on and so forth. Yes.
Well, I say something. If you are a president of Sierra Leone, you're not just going to go ballistically building schools. You're not just going to go building schools.
That is not the idea. Not only build schools.
I'm not saying that Andy say, but I just try to make the point clear. And I 100% support you on this free quality education, 100%. But and I want to let people understand what's in the go on. If, for example, this is an institution, you understand? If you get school and way, they don't for them, you get school and way, they don't get toilets, ward them, you don't break them out and stuff like that. But you now get students, then as most of them other school and the way they map already, maybe they know paint and fine and stuff like that. These are the physical aspects of it that you're looking at. Now, if you look at the curriculum, then a bigger part of it. How is the curriculum directed? Is it directed to ensure that Pekin are able to strive on their own, they will get independence, they will get better, and able to survive on their own? That is a bigger thing that needs to be changed for make sure. See, then when you talk about educational revolution, that are one of the things that need to be changed.
But that is all part of the infrastructure of education, yes.
Wait. The other thing we need to be changed, when you look at it, now for strengthening the teachers, is BO doing that? Yes, BO is doing that because it's put a little bit of increment to teachers than salaries. You don't put a little bit of increment. Based on the budget that is allocated out of $3 billion, you don't put a little bit of increment towards teachers and what they call. You look at what they prevent the beginning from studying. Some people they sell whole the able study. You don't pass laws there in place for prevent parents them and caretaker guardians them for use them picking and they are slaves practically. You don't pass laws in place. Also, you don't ensure that free uniform is provided to. Yes, it is not provided everywhere, but it's a good start. I have seen it with my eyes. It provide books to picking them. Yes, it is not everybody that's getting at the moment, but it's a good start. It is happening. Food, school feeding program. Now the only question when we get Pambiu with Nicole, because I don't think that's sustainable. I don't think we should feed kids at school. I think it is not sustainable. It's not practical. It is impossible. But that is still happening in some parts of Sierra Leone. That is a good system. Let me finish. Let me narrate some of the things that are happening. The sanity in education. The sanity, my brother. Me, I go to school in Sierra Leone. I'm a village. I went there. in UMC Primary School. I went there. I came to Kono. I went to KSS. I came to Freetown. I went to Ahmadiyya. I went to the one of the worst schools they say in the East, Congress, which is the best for me. You understand? So I went through the school system, all my high school system. I went through Sierra Leone. You understand? My university was done overseas, but my high school is in Sierra Leone. So I understand. I've challenged teachers that cannot even speak proper English. You understand? When I was a child, that has happened. So what has he done? He has put measures in place to support education for teachers, to screen teachers. We've had teachers, the former Minister of Education, Ernest Kuruma, we can find then dead teachers there, then ghost teachers there. We've all heard of that. The cleansings didn't start, it started from then. Then BO has continued those cleansing to cleanse the education and make sure that all those financial resources are not being squandered by few principals in the country. So that is happening. Teachers have been screened, and those that are not there are replaced and prosecuted, those that are supposed to be prosecuted. That's one. Another thing that they've done is to make sure that there is no compromises in exams. When you study, you pass. If you don't study, you fail. So that means anybody graduating from FPC, they sell in Lapa for make you graduate. Anybody graduating from Freetown Teachers College, they spend money for make you graduate. Is graduating based on merit. So all those those infrastructure, those cleansing of the educational system has been happening. And I tell you, it probably not will even finish with BU in government. After 5 years, he will not finish. It will probably need to be continued by successive governments then for ensure that the foundation we build on lay with this free quality education continues to flourish.
Okay, thank you very much, brother Aiah Peter Mose and family. I want to thank you plenty. I keep following, I keep the share, and I see the number. The comments are plenty. The comment and plenty. Many people, some people differ, some people agree with you, but some people differ. But I think so. We don't exhaust this particular free education. Because if we say more, the talk on them, it will take hours and end, they finish. Because according to the comments, what they see now, all man get you different take with the free education. Now, let's move again back to the political landscape na Salone. You na former President Chief Alhaji Samsumana and your own brother. Now, Chief Alhaji Samsumana is back in the APC party. The APC party, they get faced challenges, lawsuit after lawsuit, so on and so forth. But there are some other people, when a critic of Chief Alhaji Samsumana will say, Chief Alhaji Samsumana has come back to APC. But most of his supporters then say, if Chief Alhaji Samsumana where can APC if for being a flag bearer, what's in you take Padamani? Because other people they say, no, the flag bearer na a process. All man go can if he meets the criteria that they set, now one thing, then they go for going to the election. If you ever win the election, now another thing. It shouldn't be that, okay, say, oh, wait, me go can APC, but personal make me flag bearer. That is on itself is not democratic. That now so some people perceive. I'm not saying that is what former President Insai, but I saw some people then perceive. So what now your overall approach, if Chief Samsumana come to the APC and it's not the flag bearer, somebody else is a flag bearer, are you calling on him, or you say Chief Samsumana for continue, for work very hard, for support whoever is a flag bearer and make sure say they do the utmost best for bringing APC back in the governance?
Supermed, before I answer that question, I hope we'll go for talk about the Lincoln Wing University student
yes,
saga.
No, definitely we will.
Yes. But to Chief Alhaji Samsumana, I have to firstly note he's my brother. Yeah. So whatever I say, I'm trying to say it as honest. Yes, I declare that, but I'm saying it as honest, brutally honest. I've criticized him in the past. I am not ashamed of it because I thought that he deserved that criticism, and I've praised him where he deserved it. I've done the same for all other political leaders. So let me make that declaration. But first, Chief Alhaji Samsumana not left APC. That is the misconception. He never left APC.
Yeah, he was expelled. Yes, you're right.
He was expelled. You understand? To the dying moment, even they say, I was born in APC, I would die in APC. We've all heard that. Yes, he said that over and again. He was reluctant to leave. He didn't want to leave. He was kicked out of APC. That is one. So, not to say, this man may not let we go, he come back. No. He was kicked out of APC, and he went through to make sure that no other vice president in the history of Sierra Leone will ever be dismissed again by the ECOWAS court verdict. You understand? This now again for Sierra Leoneans. It's not a fight against APC. It's a gain for Sierra Leone for ensure the rule of law in Sierra Leone, irrespective who you are, you're subjected to the rule of law. So Jule Jalo today, no matter how the monarch, and I know see the monarch, then the monarch at that position till they want pull and commodate. No way we pull and commodate, not possible. Till 2023, not possible because of Chief Alhaji Samuel Samsumana. You understand? If Chief Alhaji Samuel Samsumana not be going to ECOWAS court, Jule Jalo they would not pull and they by now replace.
But ECOWAS court ruling is not binding to Sierra Leone. Reason it's just an advice.
We are a signatory to ECOWAS court. We are subject to them.
Status. So basically, if the Salone people within a Salone
that is not the first time ECOWAS court don't make ruling to Sierra Leone where Sierra Leone government don't respect. That is not the first time. Even though Sierra Leone government don't pay all the benefits the way an entitlement which Chief Samsumana are entitled to from that ruling, it is a ruling that Sierra Leone government has accepted. So let's come back to Nkamba and APC. So yes, Chief Alhaji Samuel Samsumana, Chief Alhaji Samuel Samsumana, a lot of people didn't get misconception about the guy. The guy is a down-to-earth human being, just like Samura is. He's a down-to-earth human being where, they say, pass me by force. You understand? We will have seen that at the time where
so APC your response there is that even if we cancel, we don't get back to APC, even if they don't get a flag bearer, he will be happy. He will just support whoever get the flag bearer, whatever and vote for them. That's it on Kumbaya.
Here is my response. My response from what I know him for. He's not back in the APC with conditions.
Absolutely.
Say,
okay, that's good.
Now the condition
because time they hit me.
Just land 1 second. You know, they're not APC with condition. Number one. Number two, they're not APC for go start BN because in the BN. Now before we be there, after
that is a condition then.
Wait, not a condition. Me, I can join APC today. I can join APC today and contest for flag bearership. I don't need to be according to APC constitution.
Yes.
You understand? I don't need to go and start behind. SLPP is the same. I can join them today. And depending on my category of membership and contest for flag bearership.
No,
you understand?
Amount of years.
No, there's nothing like that. There is nothing like that in SLPP. There's nothing like that in APC. You understand? There's nothing like that in their constitution. You can join. You join a class of membership.
Mr. Thomas, you say former vice president, they get no condition. Now you say, well, but they go from BN. So that is a conditionality then.
Because he has ambition, not a condition, he has ambition. Me, I can join APC today. I want to go contest.
Why you not get condition?
Why you not get
condition? You can go BN, you can go before, you can go every side. You get no condition.
No, not a condition,
my brother.
Supermed. No, I don't misspoke. He's not starting by him because he's ambitious. He wants to start. He wants to be at the front.
No, but you said
he can join. Not a condition.
You no condition. They count no condition.
Nothing will not require anybody approval. You don't require approval for condition. I always say, "Pass, you do this before I do this." You don't require anybody in approval for let somebody be ambitious.
No, that is okay. Yes, but when we say go behind, I mean the language. Maybe people are going to interpret it differently. It's not that.
He's not been there behind in the first place. He has never been behind. He's been at the forefront of the party. That is the place he's coming back to. And APC, the National Advisory Council or Committee, has accepted him back. They're just waiting for the National Convention for endorse that decision that has been made. You understand? Already is the biggest target, is the biggest opposition target in Sierra Leone, as far as I'm concerned. He is active in terms of active politics. There is nobody more targeted than him because of his affiliation, his membership with APC. You understand? So I feel say people just need to treat him fairly. He's come, he's open arms. He don't forgive the one the way they mass him, the one the way they treat him, the one the way they try to kill him. He's forgiven and embraced all of them. So why not?
But the question you don't answer already. You say the former vice president he don't come back like APC. He's willing for turn the line of APC, waiting whatever come out there, then that is fine. So you don't put no condition. I believe say most APC people will welcome that because the perception was that there's conditionalities where people will say,
there's never been any condition for his return.
Okay, that is
returned. I say people just need to accept, say the man get ambition, is fighting to become the flag bearer and transform Sierra Leone for the better. And he has the right to do so. People need to And a lot of APC members are embracing that. They're seeing him as a shining star who can transform Sierra Leone for the better. So he's there in the competition today.
Yeah, that is welcome, because in democracy, you forget genuine competition. Otherwise, there is no democracy. So it's good.
That's true.
But what people are saying here is, there are people overall, somebody ransom say, oh no, we saw the saga with the KKY and the Mother Bill, that the same saga happened as well, where some people, they say, no, either me be leader or I will come on at this party. And we saw what, I mean, that is, I'm not saying I'm like saying a concrete truth, but that was the perception out there. So you see, and that same perception don't begin come back now the APC under this same saga. But I think you've answered the question where, clearly. We don't say there's no conditionality. So the former vice president is there, he's going to compete. If he win, he win. If you don't win, he do the party 100%.
That's what it is. Bottom line.
That is it. Exactly so. So now move on. I mean, this saga where, ladies and gentlemen, again, I return and thank you plenty. The comments and plenty. I'm not going to read them all. Lots and lots of comments, and people, they get their own different take in terms of waiting and think. So but I tell you all, thank you for their contribution. I want we move to this link on quick issue, but I want to tell family back, thank you. Say, do you like this particular page? This is a new page you don't begin broadcast. So we don't know that them fashion our old page of Brian Kandon, where even Facebook, they bring out video and down. Then they tell we say, people they say, we they do this with all kind of bad things them. Then tag waiting and call, but like what say no more, then go delay we, then not go deny we. Because we the conversation now for bring account to people, let people make their own choice. Let people their own, like when they talk so many brother, Yapi Thomas, it gets your own different take. But tell me get me on, me they ask, and they play the devil's advocate for ask all kind of way where other people they think. And the brother stand on your ground, explain that in your way. So it don't left to alone and make judgments. Wait till think say na ain't right for now, wait not right for now. But there's no need for come attack a platform, try for spam platform, try for complain platform, do so many things. Because I'm not saying that this platform will do anything other than discussion. Like as concerned people, they will like we country Sierra Leone, we want to talk about I want to see progress, want to see development. We believe that through them conversation, yeah, so maybe people they lead we go here, then say go think and say, hey, but the people are not glad you not this, not this. They will try for change course. So that is why we're doing all of this. So do you una like a page, una share them so other people will know so we use this new page. Like what I said, this Saturday they come, we get the guy says the chief litigant against APC, Alfred P. Conte again for the so. Then other key APC stalwarts, Dr. Vino Full again for the, Lady Cassandra again for the, Madam Fatima again for the, Madam Mayat. So now a very, very interesting topic as well. We go based mainly on APC issues. So please, stay tuned for that program on Saturday, 8 p.m. the same time, UK time, and 7 p.m. Salone time. Mr. Yapi Thomas, this is a very sad saga. This last saga we can talk about. When this Licom student saga, we see latest issue. Waiting, a couple of people call and say it's stunt, where the students and say they go on the street for big. Say men go, men get that money, men people help them so that they go able to continue their education. What's your overall take for this all Licom saga?
Firstly, I want to sympathize with the how many students? 1,200 students where they don't provide scholarship to during the announced by Kuruma government, and where they struggle for pursue their education under that scholarship program. I want to know say we stand with una Sierra Leoneans, and we heart goes out to una predicaments. It's very unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. As somebody who don't study, don't do 2 undergraduates, 2 master's program, I know how important education is, especially in Sierra Leone. It's so crucial. So first things first, I want to recognize that on the challenges they want to go through. The second thing I want to make is that I want whatever comment they make here today is purely based on is purely founded on analytical points of view. As a genuine Sierra Leonean, what me no see for my brother Supermed and my own brother, way Belebon brother and my sister, my own picking them, I don't go say that against una. So whatever I'm saying here, I'm saying it out of genuine views, my genuine position, and based on the facts and figures before me. Now, based on that, I recommend. So if we can start off of this university, we start, where they established in 2017. You understand? Where they established in Sierra Leone, a hill station yonder is a small university, it's a foreign university, now the first foreign university on the soil of Sierra Leone ever, the first. And it was established in partnership with the government of Sierra Leone, because the government of Sierra Leone ensures Sierra Leoneans then get access to first-class education in Sierra Leone. So you don't need for travel, for go abroad, for get first-class education. You will get access to electronics, all these technologies and stuff. You will get access to them, however small it is, for encourage. And this university is already established in several different countries, such as Botswana, Kenya, Nigeria, and several other African countries, South Africa, and so on and so forth. In fact, in South Africa, the Lincoln Wing University now help for get them first democratic election. You understand? The first democratic election, that election, the way former late Mandela put Nigeria, we win. You understand? This university, now the precursor for that in terms of education and awareness, for teach people to come up. So this is a really good thing for Sierra Leoneans. We know there are Sierra Leoneans in Sierra Leone who can afford the fees. But for them picking and travel to other country can be a challenge. So this is a really good thing. So I like that. But I also want to look at the things from a broader perspective. All right, Supermed. Let's look at this from a broader perspective. We're looking at 1,200 students where the government gives scholarships to. Now, whatever the political undertone of those scholarships are, that's not important at this stage. What is important is that 1,200 Sierra Leoneans were given the opportunity to study at a high standard university in Sierra Leone. Yes? And the amount for each student per year, the amount is $1,000. That's 30 million leones per each student per year. And the course is for 5 years. You understand, eh? So 3 times 5 is 15. That's $15,000 for each student. That's 150 million leones for each student for 1 degree. Now, they also run diploma programs, diploma courses. The diploma course is $2,500 for each student for 3 years diploma course. You understand? Yeah. 2 times 2.5, 6. That's $8,500. Yes? Yeah? $8,500 for 3 years. You understand? That's 885 million, yes, for each diploma course, all right, for these students. When we look at this, I say one thing. To me, it doesn't make sense. And I say this, please, I know viewers, they will begin the course, you know, Salomale course called, I explain. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't help anyone. For a country, given our circumstances, you've given 1,200 students scholarship in Sierra Leone to study at a foreign university for $15,000 for a degree program, wherein you have so many countless citizens, Sierra Leoneans, who don't finish high school, they don't crop all kind of rubbish work. They don't slaves, or they don't even slave sex and stuff like that for make them get to university. They cannot afford the fees of $400 for the course. $400, that's 4 million leones. They cannot afford it. You understand? You leave those, and then you give, listen to this, $400, a degree in FBC, a 5 or 4 year degree in FBC will cost you less than $1,200. You understand? A 5 or 4 year degree in FBC costs you less than $1,200. And this, I know it, because I have friends that
how much do you pay per year in FBC?
You per year, let's say you're doing a 3-year course, you're paying about $300 per year. That's what you're paying. You understand?
Are you sure about that?
Yes, you're paying about $300. I've paid for university students in Sierra Leone. You understand? So if you're doing a 4-year course, 3 times 4, 12, that's $1,200. You understand? For a 3-year course. That's the price difference. You're looking at $15,000 to $1,200. You're looking at 1,200 students at $15,000 per student. You understand? To me, it doesn't make absolute.
Okay,
it's
but
not equitable.
Thomas, let me make the case for you.
Let's present them first.
Yes.
Let's present the case. You're looking at 1,200 picking them. Now, a country such as Sierra Leone, you're paying $15,000 for each of them for study. Me, if you say not equitable, I'm a social worker by profession. What's equitable? If you are providing you want to provide scholarship, I can think of a lot of people sitting here. I can think of a lot of people that I don't even know that have contacted me. Aiah, please give me 2 million. I don't even know them on social media. I've received so many flop me money to study this year. You understand? I think it is more beneficial to provide those scholarships to students to study in FBC. Yes, the standard is different. I agree with that. The standard is different, but okay, you're providing that $15,000. If you multiply it by 1,000,
okay, but Thomas, let's just give you another example quickly. Now, this is an international example I give you, where the defeat that the foreign body where the British government they use for give aid, now then country worldwide, they have a program in Africa, in Sierra Leone in particular, where they look for potential students then. When they spend nearly 10 times that amount for many students to become proper and professional medical doctors. What they do? Because they need the expertise. You go say, okay, why they won't pull out money there? Where the one getting doctor students, when they go do, they go maybe sponsor maybe 200 other people in university in a salon. But if the old man gets mediocre university degree them in a salon, we're not absolutely not able to provide the kind of expertise where the country need. So which are the benefits?
Which are the expertise? Which are the expertise within the
like I give the example what in do, like what in DFI do, because I know a friend of mine who is a beneficiary, where they cost I think close to $50,000-$60,000 for in study for becoming a medical doctor. That not DFI pay the money. Can you imagine all that money in one grain? For like go study, they become a medical doctor.
The comparison way they make is like
no, but I made that comparison. What make I make that comparison?
That comparison make
but it's about the expertise.
It's like when I made comparison to the US, she said no. That's
what
not
I made the comparison about the expertise.
You're making.
Let me just say it for you. Lecompton is supposed to be an expertise university where unique Sierra Leoneans will get the opportunity for get that skill there, where the country not going to afford, say we able to get so many, but the country need the expertise in there. Without the expertise in there, the country will rely on foreign people then. Because I'm telling you again, one time I was in Sierra Leone. They advertised one company, a brewery. Then one can do some tanks then. They advertised in the whole of Sierra Leone, forget what they call an X-ray welder. An X-ray welder, they want to employ 50 people for X-ray welding. There was nobody in Sierra Leone who got that qualification. You know what happened? They went to Nigeria. They employed 50 people. Then people they work every 4 weeks. Then they paid especially for go or the Nigeria come back. Then they paid. It was too much. The people when they run the place. Well, I think the country director was a Congolese. And he was saying to me, he said he's crying. He said, why would Sierra Leone not invest even in 2-3 people who are going to be expertise? Then those people will be able to benefit the country in general than depending on this mass education that everybody go to FBC, 10,000 will graduate. But that, I mean, I'm not crying FBC down, but the degree them, they have no really big advice apart of the lawyer them. So this is the argument where the people them will support this Lincoln Queen put forward. Is that okay? Yes, we know say we can't get challenges. We need so expertise them, but we're not going to give all man. And institution will get, they're not going to pull into so. So now, now we're able to do if a small say able qualify, then small one and then they will benefit the country so much so eventually the country we say for institution and go able to catch up. This was Lincoln Queen allowing University of Sierra Leone, Amtech, those are IPAM to catch up. So this is like a temporary measure. What's about the argument? When people say the argument, what do you think about the argument?
I think the argument, they compare bananas to apples, completely different. In the sense that you compare a country like the UK, where they already get the infrastructure, they already get the background set up, they get a foundation perfectly set up for ensure that every disadvantaged person, you get the pathway for basic education.
No, but yeah.
Allow finish. I get to your points.
The defeat was not for UK, was for Sierra Leone.
Okay.
Finish. The UK government go to Salone, say Salone they need doctorate. So now look at the most smart students inside Salone.
That is happening even in Australia. Australia will get the AusAid scholarship. You understand? I've seen a lot of Sierra Leoneans that are here. When the Australian government, they provide that aid to Sierra Leone. You understand? It's made public, it's published in all the gazettes and newspapers, on TVs there. People don't believe it, but it's happening. People are coming here in Australia. I've seen that. It's happening in the US. It's happening in Canada. It's happening in Russia. There's Sierra Leoneans in Russia that went there to study. There's Sierra Leoneans in other African countries that have provided this scholarship, that have taken advantage of it. And this is really good for us, that we have this scholarship provided for able to get certain people able to acquire certain education and knowledge, come impact back Sierra Leone. That's if they come, and by the way. Yes. But what I'm saying is that, but what I'm saying to you is that if you choose 1,200 students, you choose 1,200 students, you na University of Sierra Leone, the Lincoln University. In fact, one of the objectives, the way BO government, one of the objection was that the screening process was not open. A lot of people did not even see an advertisement of this thing. And I challenge you, Supermed, anybody out there who will bring that advertisement, they will show and say it was made public to everybody. You understand? BO government said there was never anything published in the newspapers anywhere says scholarship, please apply. This is the criteria.
That argument again is redundant because we not say Salone, now we can't yes, but let's make it clear. We not say corruption there. So many things many things in even the Pikin University, we not say that make I tell you say we need for build infrastructure. So that is if that argument say I am the current administration make when they not support them Pikin and they. Then let me say, if another government can just not say, okay, all them people that put na FBC now picking them way, they not do thorough process now because they now likely supporters of this current administration. Now they put it so let them do anything for FBC, let them collapse. How will the country benefit?
My brother, if we begin the compromising culture will continue, it will never end. I tell you, somebody has to stop it. Hey, the screening process, according to the government, was not up to standard, and a lot of people were not even aware that there was. It has to be fair. If you spend, you know how much money that they come up to? $18 million US. That's what it comes up to. That's a lot of money. If you look at it, with GDP is just $3 billion. That's a lot of money, and you have to take. When we talk about rest with all us, we talk about how many million leons. This is $15 million we're talking about. You understand? It has to be properly screened. Decision has to be an informed decision. It has to be equitable. It has to be fair. It has to be just. You understand? So everybody around the country will benefit, not just a selected few. That is one. My main point, however, my main point.
You not be no butter. I can tell you that particular there was an entry exam for Lincoln Queen students. Now to be open, but most of the courses. The main expertise courses were information technology. So there was an entry exam. I know students who went and sat the entry exam, where we don't graduate from other universities, they didn't pass.
Let me tell you one thing. Any university, any learning institution where you go, I don't say you can one them, but the good ones, any good learning institution you visit, Supermed, you have an entry assessment to examine your standard. You understand? To examine whether you're fitted to participate in this course, whether you have the background knowledge, you have the background education to offer to enroll into this course. That's how it is everywhere. While I'm going to university here, there's an assessment I have to do.
There was nothing like that in that university.
I am not talking about the assessment where the university conduct for screen and determine would I eligible for those courses. I am talking about the screening for the scholarship.
Yeah, but that is
what screening was done.
So it was an open process. It was an open process. If you are competent, how them do is they look at the people more than the brightest people. So the exam was to select the brightest people. So if you're competent through that exam, then you pass, automatically you get a scholarship. If you not pass, you not go get a scholarship. That was how it was.
That is not something that was made public. That is not something I've never come across it, and that's even the bio government has maintained that. They never see.
You not be the salon, no. You visit and you don't decide in say.
My brother, you didn't have the media now.
Yes.
There are things you know about Sierra Leone that even ministers in Sierra Leone will not know. Am I lying?
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. So your location is irrelevant to your outreach. It's irrelevant. I get people when they call me with information about things that I cannot people and I cannot chief that I cannot know about. They hear it from me. I'm telling you out of sincerity. I receive information that even those in Sierra Leone don't know about. When I was in Sierra Leone for 1 year, last year, I was there for the whole year. I got information the same way that I was getting without even being at those places. I'll share with my brother. I say, oh, this is what happened. Then he says to me, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, look at it. Look at the video. Look at the photos. You understand? So your location has no relevance to your outreach. That is one. But back to the point, in terms of spending 18 million, I would say around $18 million on 1,200 students to study in a foreign university in Sierra Leone. I think that money could have been better used for support more students. How do you think an FBC student, when a bright student, where they are FBC, we don't struggle, where they sell banana cake for paying university fees. Yeri say, wait till I finish.
Yes.
I'll finish. Yeri say, in school fee na $400, na 3 million per year. Yeri say the government don't give other students them 150 million for studying another university. Well,
okay.
You know, even let
me give you another fact. Maybe missing by your catalog of this issue. The money when they pay for university was not paid by Salone government alone. Now the partnership, I think I don't know if it's the Singaporean government. When they pay, I think Salone government was only paying 50% of the money.
That's not true. They will pay for, it's out of every 100 students, they will pay 10 students. That's what it is. Out of every 100.
This is all your own general assessment for saying, you see, there's an incentive there. What
it's 10%. It's not 50%.
No, what I say is,
it's still a lot of money.
Salone are poor country, yes, with resources na problem. But I feel say this idea, forget people that will get expertise. Now when the country need the expertise in it. Like I gave you the example just now of those XK welders. Can you imagine one whole country will not get XK welders? So just imagine people that go study, I mean, I'm not crying them down, but the university in Salone, the education, look, I was watching the debate yesterday where some people want to stand as president of FBC. I saw some of them as social work they study. And I'm thinking, well, wait, so if you graduate as a social worker in Salone, who's I go work in Salone? In terms of social work, because I'm thinking
there's a ministry of social welfare. It's one of the biggest ministries in the country.
Yes,
it employs so many thousands. Now the second most, apart from Ministry of Finance, then they bring in the third Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Mines. Then they bring in the third largest amount of money in Sierra Leone.
Yes.
So there is money, there is opportunity. But what I'm saying to you, I've met social work students in Sierra Leone. I have met, because I'm a social worker. I'm naturally attracted to them. I've met social work. I was supervised. I do my master's now. Sierra Leone, I go do my placement. I go city council. I was supervised by Madam Haja, and she's an exceptionally good social worker, and she studied in Sierra Leone in Bo.
No, but what are the social workers doing in Sierra?
So,
I mean, who's they get job? If you, I mean, just maybe you know,
you
not social worker, you don't know.
Well, they get job. There are a lot of NGOs, charity organizations, NGOs. The way they go, they get foundations, they get orphanage programs, they get they want help women's empowerment program. They want help for ensure that families then come together, family breakdowns. They rescue Pekin when they are early marriages. They rescue Pekin when they are sex slaves. They all over they need social workers.
Okay.
In fact, I tell you, social workers they get more employment opportunity in Sierra Leone than most of than any other sector. I believe that they have more opportunities in Sierra Leone, and of course, social workers can be politicians too. They can be advocates.
Yeah, obviously, but but you see the idea behind why. Even you said just now, the Australian government will say, "Okay, we will give a scholarship to one Pekin salon for can study." Say if that Pekin study, maybe the foreign student in Australia, when they pay. Maybe will nearly pay up to $15,000-$20,000 per year for study. So Australia they pay that money there for that person can study in a salon. One person will nearly $100,000.
More than that.
Yeah.
More than that.
More than that. Well, why would you, if you want to make your same argument, you go say, well, Australia if not help we instead of not getting one person there for go study, when I go pay more than $100,000, why won't you use that $100,000? And pay Boku picking a school and study now FBC.
I can make that argument. I'll be proud to make that argument, Supermed.
So why do you think the Australian government, the British government, they all not think about that?
Well, let me answer that question. The British government then gets obligations to their citizens for ensure that the charity work, what do they do? You understand? Australia, one of the biggest beneficiary of Australian charity. Now other countries, they're not the region. You understand? Australia as a country, then like British or the US, then gets an aim for help underdeveloped countries. You understand? Then they assign certain budgets.
But another discussion, that's what they say. But another discussion is.
But that is true.
Yeah, another discussion where you could be seen in different perspectives. Though. Are they really helping or are they exploiting? Well, yes,
they're helping. They're helping. Australian government don't get no stake in Sierra Leone.
Yes, but you can't say that. They get international interest.
It's true.
Australian governments, they work in isolation and get a partnership, and get hegemonies them. So they do something. You go see the outer view, but there's an interest in there.
Let me tell you this. Australia government stand to gain zero from Sierra Leone. Zero. In fact, below zero. And I say this without disrespecting my country. But what they say, then get an aim as a country for give back because they've been so successful in what they're doing. So they get policies in place for apportion a certain amount of the budget every year to charity programs to support underdeveloped countries. Why make you feel say Sierra Leone they get like Sierra Leone are able to get a COVID vaccine? People refuse to take it. They get 90,000 doses of COVID vaccines. They didn't buy it. It was charity programs. It was countries that are successful, that are fortunate. So let me come back to this. Let me come to Lincoln Wing. It's the same thing when it comes to the education you're talking about. Australia will offer you AUS-8 scholarship to Sierra Leone. So 150 Sierra Leoneans them would they provide for them would they provide them visa.
But the people must, I think you line on go bad.
Them here, provide accommodation, and start back in Sierra Leone to help the country. Now, that is completely different. That is completely different from. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, see before.
Hello?
You're back. No. I think we have another 5 minutes to wrap up.
Can you hear?
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me now?
Right.
But Peter, what we're gonna do for this discussion? Yeah, I think say we get to come back another time. Because we got plenty to discuss, we're not able to discuss. But because of the time now, the time don't beat too much, we don't extend the time too much, we'll turn out for wrap up. So I want to give you the next 5 minutes for wrap up and the issue that we don't church. First of all, the APC Samsumana saga, we talk about the C4C, where almost they pound Ravul and the chairman and the tenants have sacked the caucus leader in the parliament in agree. And the injunction and everything, then also a little bit of this thing, I think so we don't almost cover them. But I want to give you the last 4 minutes for let you wrap up so that we go bring this program to an end we go get for bring you come back another time because I think say the discussion therefore we will need plenty time because
yeah,
you get me?
Yes, I get you.
Okay, then now you get the next 4 minutes for wrap up these issues. Some of these issues don't cover today. I mean, we'll come back and talk in detail because of time.
All right. Thank you very much.
Sam Sumana and the C4C issue. Should C4C exist
right,
or
so
for
the
all kinds of
APC
APC?
issue, all right, C4C is here to stay. Number one, C4C is here to stay. It's the third largest political party in Sierra Leone at the moment, and it gets a very good, a formidable leadership under the leadership of Honorable Dr. David Baikonte, one of the leader, and a formidable Chairman Tamba Richard Sandi, where they oversee the administrative aspect of the party, and they are moving forward, and then we will see them on the ballot box come 2023, God willing. So C4C is thriving, and we wish them all the best. And Chairman Tamba Sandi was unlawful. I'm a C4C sympathizer. All right, I am a C4C sympathizer, and I've been there ever since because I see that the reason I sympathize with C4C. You like the crack, I don't know what they make me learn the crack. Let's see if I will take this thing off internet maybe. Is this better now?
Yes, better now, yes.
All right, so I just take up. All right. I can't see you, but I know you can see me.
Now let's see, I see a picture of somebody. Yeah, I see your picture, yes. You still picture, but I can't see you now. Okay, I can see you now, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. So I am a sympathizer of C4C because I believe in their doctrines, country first, Salone first. I believe in it. I strongly believe it. I also believe it's similar to what Kanda Yunkela had, I think he says Salone first is similar to that. I believe
you think C4C and NGC should come together and form one party? Like what
I think
Charles Magai said the other time. PMDC,
I think C4C and NGC, if they come together, it will be a blast. It will be fantastic. It will be a beauty to look at.
Or do you think C4C should go and join APC instead?
I think C4C should be C4C, because C4C, the stakeholders, they have 8 members of parliament. It's a huge stake. You don't want to mess around with that. So I think C4C should be C4C at this stage. Whatever the potential is, it's a coalition. The coalition, that means they can join with any other political party at any time that they choose. Yeah,
I see.
But we wish C4C all the best, and like I said, I'm a sympathizer, and I wish them all the best. I know the fracas, all the challenges. Are
you a sympathizer of the APC party as well, or a supporter? I am an aggrieved sympathizer of APC, an aggrieved sympathizer. Okay. Well, next thing we'll explain to what that means. So the APC people will know.
Yes, I'm an aggrieved sympathizer of APC, and I'm an admirer of SLPP. So
you're everywhere.
I'm an admirer of SLPP, an admirer of NGC under the stewardship of Honorable Dr. Kanda Yunkela. I admire him so much. So I wish C4C all the best. I believe that C4C then will resolve the issue. Honorable Emerson Lamina is my brother, and I still love him as a brother. And I just disagree with him on some of the decisions that he's made. But I know with time, common sense could prevail. On the issue of APC and Sam Sumana, Sam Sumana is not a stranger to APC. He's here to stay, and he's happy to be there, and he's there holistically. He's not going anywhere. Whatever, if the ship go down, they go down with the ship. The ship stay at sail, they sail with the ship. So he's there to stay, and he wants the best for APC, and he will do whatever it takes to make sure APC thrive. So and we brother Alfred Peter Conte in decision we don't take the party record. I applaud him. I think he's bringing sanity to the party. I think he's doing the right thing. And I think you should continue on that pathway.
No, that will be for another discussion because we will enter that side.
I'm just summarizing it.
Yes, because we will not discuss.
I'm using my 4 minutes.
Disagree with you, but
I'm using my 4 minutes to summarize my views on APC. I think he's doing an immaculate work, and I know that at some point sanity will prevail in APC. I think it's about time for sanity for make it prevail in APC and all these other political parties, because some of we don't see and say either APC or SLPP is the choice. There is no other option for us in our lifetime to influence change in Sierra Leone is through those two political parties. So we want sanity to prevail in both political parties so that we have a better chance to influence it. With regards to the Link One Wing student university stuff, I think it's sad to see what they're going through. I think the government should work with them to provide a pathway to mainstream university through FPC. I believe that was recommended at the last meeting, but it wasn't pursued. And I think that will pave a way. I still believe that 18 million leones or dollars or close to that, it is a money not wisely spent. I think given the circumstances, given the background of the thing, it is unfair, it is not equitable, and it needs to be more open, and there needs to be a better assessment of it. And I think at this stage, my recommendation is that those students should finish their university at FPC or pay whatever is left to be continued. That is my genuine view, and I say that mainly because I believe that there are $15,000 per student to study in Freetown. It is unfair in comparison to $1,200 per student to study in Freetown.
Thank you very much, Brother Aiah Thomas. I mean, your contribution today, very, very welcome at this platform. I'm glad to forget you. Very thorough and good, honest discussion. And ladies and gentlemen, now that's what we're doing on this platform. I want to when I say Sunday, every Sunday, 9 p.m. UK time, 8 p.m. Salone time, we get what we call the week in review. So the one on week in Salone, waiting they happen. The CEO and founder of this platform, Mr. Prince Emiko, and I think he hosts that particular program there, where they talk about what's not happening in Salone, politics, economy, social, whatever. So we can review every Sunday, 9 p.m. UK time, 8 p.m. Salone time. And we'll not forget Saturday, we'll get Brother Alfred P. Conte, one of the chief litigants against the APC party. We'll not forget him now. We'll get alongside them key stakeholders of the APC party, Dr. Vinod Fuller, Lady Cassandra, Lady Mariatu, and Madam Fatima. They are like key stakeholders of the APC party. Go dinner with Brother Alfred P. Conte on Saturday, 8 p.m. UK time, 7 p.m. Salone time. So on behalf of the platform and everybody who wants to tell Mr. Aiah Thomas, thank you plenty. We hope say go come all the time because we get outstanding issues we're going for discuss. And again, we know the audience and we return that thank you. This is our new platform. We see the number come up today that the first of broadcast now, the number go right up. We know say yes. Anywhere we go there now, we people them where they follow, we go always follow we and we will continue to follow with the tone. Thank you plenty for that. And the quite say no more. Every good thing must come to an end. This was a good conversation, but we don't come to the end. And I say night long tete dogo must clean. You look like say do long clean pawi. So family on tata. God bless you all, Mr. Aiah Thomas. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, Supermed. Thank you.